Hello, I'm George Plimpton. Like everyone else, I thought Frisbee was just a game of catch played by 2 or more people in a park or at the beach. But for several thousand athletes around the world, ultimate Frisbee is a demanding full-time sport of non-stop running, accurate throwing, and all-out diving to catch that plastic disc. It seems that Frisbees have always been around, but disc folklore has it that the ancestor of the plastic version you now find in stores dates back to the Yale University campus of the 1940s, where students tossed these metal pie tins, which were supplied to the college dining halls by the Frisbee Bakery of Bridgeport, Connecticut. There you can see the name, Frisbee Pies. This must be a very valuable antique, I would think. Frisbee Pies. It wasn't until the 1960s when Whammo, the California company that introduced the hula hoop to America, began to produce these plastic discs, flying discs, and they're known, of course, as Frisbees. Now, if you look here, down underneath, on one of these older models, you'll find the company's motto. May be hard to see, but what it says is, play catch, invent games. And that's just what some students did back in 1968 in the parking lot of Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey. It was there that they invented the game of ultimate Frisbee. What is ultimate Frisbee? Well, it's played by 2 7-person teams. Play begins when the defense throws off to the offense. Teammates advance up the 70 by 40-yard field by tossing the disc among themselves without it being intercepted, knocked down, or thrown to the ground. Once a player catches the disc, he must establish a pivot foot. He cannot run with the Frisbee, but instead must throw the disc within 10 seconds to teammates who sprint and spin with plays so smooth that they appear choreographed. A point is scored when a team catches the Frisbee in the opponent's 25-yard end zone. When played well, ultimate is just that, the ultimate sport, combining the passing and scoring of football, the cutting and guarding of basketball, and the non-stop field movement of soccer. There are many talented players in the sport, but 2 of the most outstanding are New York City's Ken Dobbins and Boston's Steve Mooney. Kenny's life is ultimate Frisbee. In the 7 years that he has played, Ken has led KABOOM, a team he started with a few close friends, to compete in 3 national championships. Kenny has earned the reputation of being a fierce competitor, famous for his game-saving blocks, spectacular throws that cover the length of the field, and his unparalleled intensity.
What keeps me going is an insane hatred of losing. I really hate to lose, particularly to Boston.
How are you?
The person that Ken is indirectly referring to is Steve Mooney, captain of Titanic, a Boston area all-star team. 6 foot 7 inches tall, Mooney is a giant on and off the ultimate field. His love of ultimate extends to organizing tournaments and promoting the game.
I think it's equally demanding, soccer, ultimate, basketball, or they all are equally demanding, but I find ultimate to have a little bit more because there's, for me at least, there's more camaraderie. So athletically, again, it's maybe equal, but there's a little bit something special that I look for at this point.
Hey, wait, I want to say something. Now, look, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I want everyone's cooperation, all right? You know how, like, Topps has baseball cards, right? Now, see, that's my brother, man, and I want a picture of everybody with having a Frisbee card. So the way that you want to be photographed with a Frisbee card is the way I want, you know, my...
I'll give you a photo.
Like that. But listen,
this is good. You get the point, huh?
You get it? Now listen, I want to make sure everybody, there's 19, 18, because Duncan ain't here. Everybody's got to get their picture taken.
Blade.
Knee up.
Yeah.
Here's one the disc. Here's the pretty.
Do it wet end.
I do 20. You do 10.
Blown, Bill.
Yeah, there it is.
Very good.
The ultimate reward for any ultimate player is, of course, to make it to the national championships. and in 1985 they were held in Washington, D.C., and both Titanic and KABOOM were there. At the Nationals, the 10 men's teams were divided into 2 pools of 5. Pool A consisted of New York City's KABOOM, the St. Louis Tuners, the Boulder Dallas Rivals, the Cogs from Washington, D.C., and the Santa Barbara Condors. Pool B was made up of Titanic, Mr. Poose from North Carolina, Atlanta's Chain Lightning, the San Francisco Flying Circus, and finally Chicago's Windy City.
After the first day, Windy City is in pretty good position. They're 2-0, and they won a tough game over Titanic 19-18 in the last round last night. The 3 teams expected to do well in that pool, Windy City, Flying Circus, and Titanic, are all still in the running. Titanic and Flying Circus are both 1-1, and they play each other to begin the second day of play.
Thus the game between the San Francisco Flying Circus and Titanic was a wild card situation. The winner would advance to the semifinals and the loser would be eliminated. With a 19-17 victory, the San Francisco Flying Circus put an end to Moon's and Titanic's bid for a national championship.
It's tough losing. I've lost some, a lot of people support me and support our team after we lose these close games. But it's tough losing. It's like any sport. And I guess part of the reason why I'm here is to win. It's not the only reason. A lot of friends, but I am a little bit frustrated being eliminated because we did have a great team. But I think all the players here enjoy it. They come out here to play primarily. Not everybody can win. And so now's a chance to really mix it up. And that's the beauty of Ultimate. We get, the tournament isn't over. I'm not going home. I'm going to hang around. I'm going to talk to some friends. So I really look forward to that.
However, KABOOM, afflicted by injuries that sidelined many of its key players, struggled through the regular season, and they barely qualified for the tournament. They were not expected to do very well. But surprisingly, KABOOM survived and continued its strong play by defeating both Santa Barbara and Washington. With these victories, KABOOM won Pool A, and St. Louis finished second.
It's not a surprise to us that we're the hot team of the tournament. We had a really good attitude coming in. Most people didn't expect much out of us, so we're underdogs in their eyes, but champs in our own. That's a good way to be.
As the final day of competition began, KABOOM and Windy City found themselves in a heated battle on a field located in the suburbs away from the Washington Mall. Early on, the game was tied, but Windy City surged ahead to take a 3-goal lead. Before the game got out of hand, Ken called a timeout to bring his players into a huddle to map out strategy for taking back the lead.
The composure we showed against Tunis, we have to show here now. We can't be caught up in this. That means people on the sidelines too.
Right.
The point is that we focus our energy on the game. What they do with theirs, we couldn't give a shit. Okay? Let's do it that way.
And let's not argue with Tyson either. Let us not argue.
The timeout helped. With tenacious defense, KABOOM fought back and was down by only 1 at the half. Play by play, the game became more tense. In the midst of this hard-fought contest, a very unique incident occurred. Ken was near the sideline when he threw a long, curving pass that brushed an overhanging tree. However, the pass was caught inbounds by one of Ken's teammates. Immediately, Chicago contested the play, saying that the disc was knocked inbounds by the tree. In Ultimate, there are no referees, and this sets it quite apart from all other organized team sports. Since there are no officials, the players themselves must resolve all disputed calls before play can resume. This concept, known as the spirit of the game, is so sacred to Ultimate players that it's even written into the rules. In the half, KABOOM played its best Ultimate of the season to take a 1-goal lead. But it was on game point that the unexpected happened.
The first thing I remember thinking was that I couldn't believe it happened. It's a catch I've made 1,000 times before. But when I came down, I heard a pop, and I just felt the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. And I knew I'd torn my knee apart. it wasn't until I heard the cheers that I knew we'd won. And at that point, we were very happy about winning, obviously, but we were also really wondering what was wrong with me and how bad my injury was and whether I'd be able to play. So it was a real up and down feeling, excitement about making the finals, but a real trepidation about my injury and its seriousness.
So the incredible finally happened. The tournament Cinderella team, KABOOM, defied the odds and made it to the finals. Now that they were there, only one question remained. Could they do it without their captain?
They have never really played it up to the extremes that we played, and also they've never defended on offense. So, in other words, we got to mark hard and play a great sideline D when we're man-to-man. We're going to play some zone, too.
No
but
dump.
really, no dump. No dump at all times, okay? You have to stop the dump.
Which way do the calls go?
Away! 9, 10, 11, 12!
Men's final, 21 points. This is Kane Akai with the commentary. We have Circus pulling to KABOOM.
KABOOM fell behind early and continued to trail throughout the contest. The fact that KABOOM was losing in this championship was too much for Ken. After all, this was his team out there fighting to become the next national champion. Even though he was in great pain and his mobility was limited, Ken knew he had to play. As he ended the game, the fans went wild.
They're about 10 yards out. It's got Pat King with a nice diving catch for the score. 2019.
But even with Ken, KABOOM's late game surge was not enough to overcome the Circus lead.
Mike McClellan's open for the backhand. He's got it. Over to Ronar. Ronar scores the winning goal for Circus. 21-19. A great game for the men's championship final.
While San Francisco cheered and celebrated, the players from New York were exhausted, disappointed, and of course at a loss for words.
You've won Santa Cruz. You've won Santa Cruz twice. You've won Easterns. But now you can really say you're the best team in the sport because you've won the UPA National.
With their victory in Washington, the Flying Circus won the right to represent the United States in the 1986 World Championships, to be held in London. But for the rest of the Ultimate World, the discipline and practice continues. New teams are formed, and more people will be introduced to this growing sport. And who knows, maybe someday there will be an Ultimate Frisbee League in every community in the country. The championships will attract thousands of spectators and will be covered by the major networks worldwide.